Not deserve to be treated that way.
A family confronts an abuser in court.
He was just constantly saying perverted stuff to me all the time.
So you're saying you didn't do any abusive acts toward her?
No, I have not.
Oh, give me a break. You're being a no-good slime ball doing what you've been doing here to this woman.
For almost 4 years, Neva Simmons and Kevin Fox lived together in not-so-gentle harmony until a recent breakup. Now Neva makes a serious charge that Kevin not only raped her, but twice allowed his friends to sexually assault her. Kevin denies the charges and says he kept asking his girlfriend to leave, but she stayed around for the money. It's all today on Judge Joe Brown.
He's a real judge whose experience has taken him from South Central LA to the halls of justice. In his courtroom, everyone has the right to a fair trial. But if they're proven wrong, he has the right to make them pay. Judge Joe Brown.
In the matter of Simmons versus Fox, case number 1.
Litigants are stepping forward. This case is about to get underway. The plaintiff is Neva Simmons, a secretary from Missouri. She says Kevin Fox, her ex-boyfriend, sexually assaulted her. The defendant has filed a cross-complaint accusing the plaintiff of owing back rent and inventing her allegations out of spite. Now here's Judge Joe Brown.
Everyone rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Joe Brown presiding. Please be seated and come to order. Judge, this is Simmons versus Fox, case number 196.
Thank you, Miss Holly. Let's see. Miss Simmons, you're saying that Mr. Fox will not return certain property of yours, and also he has physically and mentally abused you, and you're asking for damages, and Mr. Fox, you're counterclaiming, saying that she's harassed you, owes you for back rent and loans. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, let's start with you, Miss Simmons. All right. When did you two become involved?
I've known Mr. Fox since about 1992, and we've been together off and on for like the five and a half years. But during the last 10 months is when I started experiencing the physical and mental abuse from Mr. Fox.
Now, hold on before we do anything. We've got two young folk here. How old are you, young lady?
18.
You're 18. How old are you?
12.
You step outside, all right? We'll come get you if we need you. All right, ma'am.
Your Honor, on June the 2nd, 1997, Mr. Fox sexually assaulted me. He came home, it was about 11:30 p.m., and...
You two were just going together. You weren't married.
No, Your Honor, we were living together.
But you weren't married.
No.
All right, go ahead.
No. He came home, and it was about 11:30 p.m., and his three boys were already in bed, and I was waiting for him to come home, and I didn't receive any phone call or anything, and so it made me mad, you know. I didn't hear from him, and so when he arrived about 11:30, I asked him where he'd been. Well, he had previously in the week had told me, you know, he was kind of hanging out at this other lady's house that her husband had left her, and he'd always come home and tell me how good looking she was, which didn't make me feel any better, and so I was mad, and I told him I wasn't going to sleep in the bedroom. I was going to sleep on the couch, and so I was lying on the couch, face down, and he came in there, and he says, "Are you coming to bed?" And I said, "No." And then he came, and he got on top of me and held my neck down. I was face down, and then he ripped my underwear completely off of the right side of me. And he says, "You ain't got no reason to be mad at me. I've been out bidding jobs all night." And then he had his way with me. Then he jerks me up by my hair, makes me sit up on the couch, and pins my arms behind me, and has his knees digging into my legs. And I had to sit there like that while he interrogated me for I don't know how long. And then when he finally let me up, I ran to the bathroom, and I was sick to my stomach after that incident because I felt I did not deserve to be treated that way.
All right, now there's another instance here. I know this is painful to you.
There's two other incidents. I can't recall, Your Honor, the exact dates. The latter part of 1997, he took it upon himself to invite two of his friends into the bedroom and sexually abused me. 2 different times, 2 different guys. She brought his friends into our bedroom.
But he made you have sex with them?
No, one of them, he pulled the covers off of me, and he let one of them pull my underwear completely off of me, and then he started kissing me and performing sex on me. And the second guy, Mr. Fox pulled the covers off of me, and then that guy didn't do anything like that. He just more or less touched me.
Did you report that to the police?
No, Your Honor, I didn't.
Why not?
I was afraid of him. I was afraid what he'd do to me because he made so many threats to me. I was afraid of the consequences.
Well, tell me what you mean by that, because from
Your
reading
Honor,
your complaint, there's an ongoing relationship you've had with him that's been pretty bad leading up to that and
Well,
after that.
There's always been quite a bit of verbal abuse, but the physical abuse did not begin until 1997, June of 1997. That's when the physical abuse began.
Now, you have a grandson you were talking about?
Well, that's when Mr. Fox lived in my house, and he was watching my grandson, and he put him in a big box and taped it up and put it in the back of the basement, and my grandson just totally went in hysterics, screaming. And
You say in your complaint he told you the Chucky doll was going
yeah,
to get him?
he said the Chucky doll was going to get him, and that he was trying to teach my grandson not to tease my dog.
Now, you also complained that he gave Valium to your 14-year-old
Yes,
daughter and the
Your Honor.
daughter's friends?
My daughter right here, when she was 14 years old.
You confronted him about this?
Yes, I did, but he denied it.
Now, you're saying you kept a journal of this.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you say in your complaint that you recorded numerous times when he hit you, slapped you, pushed you, called you names, abused you, told you that you were lucky to have him.
That was all the physical was during the last part of 1997. The verbal was almost continuous.
Well, why are you coming forward now?
Your Honor, I've been to court 3 times already in the state of Missouri, and I don't feel that justice has been served. I mean, he gets off on an assault charge. I pressed charges on him for assault, and I was sure he'd get some jail time after he's had 2 previous assault charges. He had one on his son and one on his ex-wife, which I both witnessed them.
Now, you also say you had to resign from your job due to excessive absenteeism or
Yes.
be terminated. You're saying that's a result of what he did to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, from looking at your complaint, this was a long-standing state of affairs that you had with him, this abuse. Why did you put up with that?
Your Honor, I have no answer for that. I just don't know. I mean, it was like I was brainwashed or something. I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was just totally out of control. I mean, he isolated me from my friends, my family. Didn't want my daughter coming over to our house. You know, I had no one to reinforce the truth back into me or who I was.
We'll be back with more Judge Joe Brown in a moment.
See, what the game is the same one a pimp uses. You come in and you find a victim, she doesn't know she's a victim, and you tell her she's no good, ugly, stupid, whatever, and she ought to be grateful and glad that she's got you who cares for her.
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiff has said that her relationship with the defendant turned into physical assault on her, sexual assault on her in the last year. We're going to hear from the defendant and a witness now. Let's listen in.
You didn't have a very high opinion of yourself, did you?
That's right, Your Honor.
You getting help now?
Yes, Your Honor. I attend counseling once a week at the Hope House for battered women.
Ma'am, do you know anything about this? Come on, stand up and tell me what you know about it.
Well, I lived with my mom for when I was 14, and I ended up moving out and moving in with my dad because of him.
What did he do to you?
He was just constantly saying perverted stuff to me all the time, and he talked to me like I was a dog, and he treated my mom like crap.
What about this incident with the body?
Oh yeah, he gave me and my friend a Valium.
You know why your mother kept putting up with this?
No, I don't.
Have you talked to her about it?
Yes, I did.
What'd you tell her?
I tried to get her away from him.
What'd she tell you was the reason she stayed there?
Because she loved him.
You love somebody like that?
Well, I did at the beginning of the relationship, but I don't now.
What do you have to say about this, Mr. Fox? You also complaining against her. Now, what's your side of things?
This is completely out of hand. I didn't know this was being brought up in court whatsoever.
What do you think you were here for if you were not
assault
talking about
and battery, assault and mental abuse, and not returning her property. That's all I.
Well, let's
understand.
talk about the assaults. Do you admit or deny what she is accused
I deny
of?
everything she has said today.
Well, you also have sued her on a counterclaim too. What's your side of things?
Man, I don't even know where to start. The only thing I can say is that I've known this lady for 6 years, going on 6 years, and we've had our problems. Not anything big. She likes to go to her friends and talk to her friends, and her friends. I don't know what they say, except for I do have a recording of one conversation that I did tape. And she's got this girl believing I'm going to kill her.
She's perhaps got some basis for that. She mentions in her complaint that you have threatened to kill her on many occasions.
No, sir, that is
You've never done that.
That is not right.
And you say that you've never struck, kicked, slapped, punched her ever.
Never. I still love this woman with all my heart. There's no way in